the time because we have a number of presentations, all of which follow how important people think to be. So the ask the presenters to come where I announced them. All presenters for the session, please come to where I stand. We have the liberation here. So you present number one. And also present the name and the title for the discussion later. Now may I invite we can meet and collaborate, and then we will take on this session. Again, we will hopefully preside on the two keynote speeches, and then after that, Professor Ulioandaliwa will take its role and sit. So may I now call upon Mr. Daniel, CCAA, you can sit prepared. Yes, for the final part before your presentation. So we'll start where we left, and that is Daniel Malaka to just complete your presentation. And then that will be followed by Engineer Machida. SDR. So these are the two presentations that will be shared by Professor Naga. And then after that, the three technical papers will be shared in by Professor Ulioandaliwa. And technical papers are from Dr. Mamu Lecture. Then there is the course, Marina Seguro. That is Marina Seguro, Mamu Lecture, and there's the day. But only after we have, only after the keynote speakers have presented. Before we start now, I invite Professor Ulioandaliwa. The morning session, Malaka, you know that you are left with 2 minutes. The coverage of that is now the country is covered by so we can see aircraft, whatever they are, that means we are set. One of the commission arrangements for preparation condition as consider messages and our college is one of the 9 colleges that have been accredited by the single ICAO to train security. It's among the 20 centers in Africa and 5 centers
globally. So our focus training the short course development. Our customers internationally and international between those countries. As you can see, those are our customers that come to college, and we also train the DTCA staff and I want to tell you that we are now in the process of constructing a college, new infrastructure, new facilities to be built behind the headquarters of Usafirishaji. So we are now at the stage of the government that support. So we are beginning this year as financial to have a very modern facility there for training our people and outside. Those are the to look like that. Behind that, got a building of the acceleration authority. That's a building we are planning to have there. So, what has come to challenge that we have but before I come to the challenge, I want to sum up. I said that our aviation industry is moving very well. We are progressing very well. We have a lot of support from the government. And you can see some of the air international carriers getting a lot of support. And this, really gives an interest to the industry, which brings about a very big multiplier sector of the sector of the economy. But we have challenges that we face in the industry, shortage of pilots and common problem. The ways of resolving this, we are also trying to find and also getting partners from private sector to address this big challenge. That's a big challenge which necessitates there recruiting of foreigners from other countries which becomes a very expensive approach. And we have to get that it is a very good also, we have the other way to announce this very big challenge. We don't know what to happen for. But what we get, we have on the community, we would not know what will happen, and so we suffer. And as you know, when the nation suffers, you really, bring about impact to other sectors which also suffer equally because they get transport. So the threat of communicable diseases is a big threat. We don't know after COVID-19 what will happen tomorrow. So we need to get prepared for challenges. We must get prepared so that we are always ready to fight to avoid getting importing diseases and managing the spread when you get. Also, other major threats, other countries have a lot of calamities which affect the industry, not international, but also we are affected because you depend on international transport system as well. So we also affected that way. After another few remarks, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Next, now we invite Engineer Machibia Shiva, who is the Director of Railway Infrastructure at TLC, and also the coordinator of the guest care project. Please.
Good morning. I will introduce my name is Chia. and for railway infrastructure, TRC, also project and director and coordinator of our growing SDR construction in Tanzania. And my presentation, you understand it there, the prospect of the before such, there is a feeling that we are doing well for high speed. That's the story and the expectation of the Tanzania. They're expecting we are doing this well for high speed level. And also, there is an expectation in engineers that we are doing this well to hold vehicles in the big volumes. It is true, if you look on the aspect of the standards we are using to construct our rail. The purpose of SDR construction in this country is only to support innovation in this country, to support social economic activity in this country. Tanzania, in this area, is the biggest country. It needs railway of such kind to shorten the travel time and also to support haulage freight to our port and to our ports. My presentation will cover the railway in Africa and also will cover the railway development, social economic benefit of the railway, and the private sector participation in the railway operation. The historical development of railway in Africa is more than 100 years since the colonial era. And there was one purpose for colonial people. There was an industrialization in Europe, but the raw material supporting industrialization was found in Africa. So colonial Germans, United Kingdoms, they invested in Africa railway to support the overall raw material to the seaports. That in Africa is about 75 kilometers of railway that we are having. If you compare with other countries like China, China is the 100% covered of railway development of the railway track base. If you compare with India they have 128,300 kilometers of railway network. United States of America, there is 260,000 kilometers of railway network. But in terms of area, Africa has a total of 30.3 million square kilometers. China has 9.5 kilometers area. India the same has 3.2 million. So if you put ratios, for even 400 kilometers square Africa, you find the railway compared to China, or even for 30 square kilometers, you should find a railway in China. Here, for even 25 square kilometers, you can find the railway in India. In America, the same 37 square kilometers, you can find the railway. Compare those countries, our economy, you can see why are we not developing Africa? Because we don't have a sustainable infrastructure like rail to support our economy and the industrialization in our country. For this 75 kilometers of rail in Africa, there are more than 90 in Africa, we have the common three gauges of rail. Number one is Cape Gauge, it dominates 61.3% of our rail network in Africa. Then the meter gauge, it dominates 19.2% of our rail network in Africa. The standard gauge, which is at the top place, it covers the 14.5% of the rail network in Africa. There is a big challenge have different gauges. Number one will be operability, and then number two, the cost of investing for rolling stocks and the other very material. So we have an African agenda. Our guest of honor was mentioned. Is connect to integrate the African economically and connect with high-speed level to our major cities. This is the vision which also is guiding Tanzania developing the standard gauge rail. If you look on our implementation of the standard gauge rail market in Tanzania, we have reached 50% of our plan for 2063. And also, there is a potential will not be able to connect and achieve their vision in the SDR construction. Let me come to Tanzania SDR development. In Tanzania, we have two categories of rail developments. The reason why we are categorizing. Number one is an intercity trade. Intercity trades, we have already conducted a feasibility study of the central rail corridor, southern rail corridor, also northern rail corridor. And all these corridors, they have the reason why we are developing. If you go to southern corridor, we will develop a rail network of 1,000 kilometers. On one purpose, the most heavy metals or mining are situated in the 12 corridors. Come from the Gambia in Uchukuzi, graphites both in Taifa, and there's a big deposit of cement. And also the northern part of Tanzania, we have the routine, the purpose of this rail construction connects the entire port to the central corridor through Shinyanga, and the support also the movement. It gives an alternative of the road operation. If there is any challenge you are facing in the central corridor, you can use Tanga to solve up the corridor as an alternative routine in operation. If you look on the population growth, take into account the Dar es Salaam city. Dar es Salaam city by 2030 is a legacy. It's not easy to move around people depending on the road mode of transport. The best the solution for such kind of is the roadway mass landing transit. One of the best models is the railway operation. So we have already developed a 166 kilometer of the standard gauge railway for the corridor to the Dar es Salaam. And also we are going to develop another similar mission, Kwanza, and distribution of oil. But also we have completed the study for the development of the railway network within the city, the political city. So we want also to develop how a sustainable and efficient mobility of people in the city. And the most reason is a green project is very valuable. That's why that engage in best development of those cities to ensure that the life of the people are protected. So that is one of our cities, outering the found to be Tanzania SDR because of the area of the construction. The white people, they are if you have multiple ages in your country, it creates a challenge with the operation. So the standard age level is defined by Swiss 1.45. But also if you go to Europe, it is known as for age or status. The four continents, the unit of South Africa, Africa, South Africa, as I said before, our corridors, but in construction, we started with this corridor. In a sense, whatever phases, phase one is between Dar es Salaam and has 1,200 kilometers, and all 5 roads are under construction, and then we expect by 2026 the railway will be. And also we have a phase two construction of railway, and also that conversation, the construction also. There are the reasons that going the route. This is a with 2 countries, and also we have a corridor Ulioandaliwa. The reason is to connect the port of Dar es Salaam with the DRC to Karema port, and also the airport 4. The Dar es Salaam port. And the once in this under construction, I want to know it also needs us some guidance. In the local logistics level, if you look at it, if you go to us, Tanzania, we should for the American right? And the addition of US because we expect my potential for the western part of Tanzania. Our axle is that we are going to use the traction power for the electrification. And also our design speed is 160 kilometers per hour for capacity and 120 kilometers per hour for freight trade. And also on civil communication, we are using this is the largest technology operation. And also our line will be very separated. There is no way to meet. About the reason, number 1, accident utilization, and also number 2, is very. So there is no way operating at 160 and we carry back to 40 kilometers. So if you put a great separation, so we are going to improve our efficiency in the operation. Before, this is the implementation progress of the map. That is down to 1, we get contractors, and the section between Dar es Salaam and the Roman substation, we expect operation by December. As I said before, supporting the African industry, we have very innovative projects between Visa and Songati. area, which also the procurement is on board. They also have like Saka, Sumo, Kigali, completed, we are on the financial process. On the social economic benefit of the railway, as I said before, this railway is going to provide connectivity to areas. So we are going to support the mobility, the movement of people between countries or within the region. And also it's going to travel time, taking into account rolling mode of transport between Dar es Salaam and the road takes up to 3 hours, but it's going to take 3 hours. Roma and Dar es Salaam 7 hours. So we are supporting that's what the region group are Dar es Salaam now is acting as a group. So this wave is going to support us in that's what the other regions. Because it's going to reduce the transport cost by 50%. And also this wave will control inflation within the region because we are going to use the traction pump produced through our natural resources instead of importing fuel, which they are not produced. Taking into account the very low. If the cost of fuel was varied by 20%, you are going to affect the cost of transport within the region. And also we expect it for attract employment on unexploited and attractive potential areas. Also is going to support the environment by reducing carbon emissions. Today the agenda of the world is to go for green energy, so this is going to support. Accident cost reduction, if you look at it very, it's been one of the safest mode of transport compared to other. On the issue of the private participation, the government has initiated by amending the number 10 of 2017 to allow the open access, and we invite all of the private sector also to take this chance to be part of the operation. So we are no longer monopoly of the TRC to be one entity which will be operating the rail. So you can different companies can operate. Those are some of the features of our station. We see and what we are going to visit. Some of the bigger stations. Our control center in Dar es Salaam is we will be controlling all of the railway through this center. This is one of the important terminal in terms of mode of transport for roads, railway to road. It's one of the traction power stations because we are going to use the power rail operation completed. It's 26 kilometers from Dar es Salaam. Our road station, our bridge, the topic of resilience transport. This is one of the problems of the black project, so the variety is where that is largely said to construct way up areas. That's why you see there are some targets in the regions. Our station is the biggest station where construction, the Mora station, the substation in Kwanza section, Saka. The last one, the Mora station, concept design, the third for
Thank you very much. Yeah, time is past. I think the whole session is not a end of discussion. Discussion in the conversation.
Usafirishaji zinasikilizia. Okay, so I think Professor Taifa comes back and continue our series for him. I think the next presentation is by the leader was Nube, the team, Maraj. We have 15 minutes. We'll appreciate if you can get less than 15 minutes. Please regularly look at me so that I don't come there.
Thank you, moderator. Members of the Governing Council of MIT, senior government officials, keynote speakers, invited guests and participants, and wish you all. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to the conference organizing the team for this opportunity. It is truly a privilege. My name is Marina Amos Mkutano. I'm an assistant lecturer, research and consultant from the National Institute of Transport. I hold a master's degree in aircraft design from the Nigerian University of Aeronautics and Astronautics, Nigerian International for attending yes, and a prior bachelor's degree from the Chiang Aerospace University in aircraft manufacturing. Chiang International. I represent a research study titled Predictive Maintenance of Aircraft Engines through Machine Learning. So the key performance parameter for civil aviation is reliability in aircraft operation. That means performance or percentage of time the aircraft is present in available condition to operate. This is because the airlines and the customers rely on this reliability in order to function and flights to be able to be dispatched in time without any downtime. So if there's an equipment failure, this will lead to the aircraft being out of service, and in that turn, it will lead to high loss of revenue for airlines, and also the reputation of the airlines will minimize because of the lack of reliability to the airlines. So in this case, I would like to present a study that would help predict the occurrence of state failures. There won't be an out-of-service aircraft, and it will be operating in the time that is required without downtime, and hence the costs that are incurred for unscheduled maintenance will be minimized at a higher level. So first of all, I'm going to introduce the concept of predictive. I'm going to establish the objective. I will go through the methodology framework and present my results and findings, and finally conclude with the future work. For decades, maintenance and repair organizations have relied on preventative maintenance on aircraft components. That means you use traditional methods of maintaining equipment that are put forward during the aircraft manufacturing time. So the aircraft manufacturer documents a maintenance manual, or the AMM, on how to maintain the components and the work rate. But there's a setback because what if it occurs between two maintenance slots? Then the equipment is unavailable until maintenance actions are performed. So that means the airlines will have to ground the aircraft, and this will lead to high loss of revenue. So that's where maintenance comes into play, because it does not only predict accurately when the failure will occur, it will pinpoint exactly what part of the equipment will undergo degradation at what time. Whereas the airlines can schedule the maintenance with regards to the prognosis of the predictive maintenance. And predictive maintenance can be done in several ways or methods, but for my study, I based on machine learning, which is a form of artificial intelligence where a computer learns and detects patterns from large structured data in order to realize underlying complex relationships that are present in equipment. So machine learning will predict or will train a model so that it will be able to tell when the failure will occur. So the objective is to train a machine learning model by utilizing periodic data obtained through sensors placed at different points of the engine in order to accurately predict failure and establish their remaining useful life. So this can be applied because recently Air Tanzania has acquired a pack of modern aircraft embedded with sensor technology. So it's easy to just acquire the data from the sensors and run it through the machine learning models that I designed, and that way you are able to predict when failures will occur and schedule maintenance accordingly. So the methodology framework of my research that comes from the engine, because the sensors place at different parts of the engine, from the intake to the compressors to the carbon blade, in order to study and monitor the shift. So I obtained the data from the turbofan engine, been running from time t to the point, and I use this as my baseline. Point will help filter the noise and remove all outliers in the data so that analysis can be made. And then I classified the data into 3 classes, from good condition, moderate condition, and critical condition, and ran it through the which builds machine learning models. So when you inject it with new data, it's able to detect good condition, medium condition, and critical condition. And finally, I obtained another set of data as the case data from an engine that ran from time t to time t1, and it hasn't run failure yet. Engine data from time t to run, and as you can see, the red part is the high pressure compressor. There's sensors placed everywhere. So the red part at the top is the sensor placed as a high pressure compressor that shows that as it approaches 400 cycles of operation, it starts to degrade. And the low pressure compressor is approaching the same degradation but at a slower rate than the high pressure compressor. So in this case, this data shows there is a degradation and failure. So we're going to use this to train and create a machine learning model that when we insert new data sets, we'll be able to recognize the failure. So this is the data processing. So that's actually the smooth data that analysis after filtering out all the noise. And this is the naive Bayesian classifier, which is the classification algorithm used in machine learning because it accurately builds a machine learning model that is able to detect failures at a high accuracy. So I classified the data, and you're going to see the next slide, different colors that are associated to this concept. So after we run the data through the naive Bayesian classifier, we're able to obtain a model. So this is actually the machine learning model that has detected that in the data, the high pressure compressor, the low pressure compressor is experiencing degradation after a certain period of cycles. The blue is in good condition, that is when the aircraft is just beginning its operation at time t, that this data was recorded, and as we see as we approach larger cycles of operation, it becomes more scattered and the color turns to yellow, which is critical condition. And the high pressure has more scatter than the low pressure compressor because it's experiencing degradation with comparison to the low pressure compressor. So how do we measure the accuracy of the machine learning model? This is through something called the confusion matrix. Matrix compares the predicted class and the true class. That means how many times at what accuracy does our machine learning model predicts that we're in good condition, and that's the accurate class that is in. That means the rest of the 16%, the machine learning model is detecting that the aircraft is in good condition, but actually the components of the engine are in moderate or critical condition. So the false positive is actually the downside or the setback of the machine learning model. But 84% accuracy is very high for a model because I use a naive Bayesian classifier, and we can move on to test our machine learning model to new set of data. So the new set of data actually came from another run from time one, and that's when the data was fed into the machine learning model, and performed at 3.3%. This is because the previous model is quite large, and machine learning models perform quite well with large set of data with comparison to slow or small set of data. That's why this is at 83% and that was 84%. But nonetheless, this shows very high accuracy for this model that I designed. And as I said before, it also predicts, since this engine didn't run all the way to failure, it actually tells you how many circles are left until failure occurs. So in this case, the remaining useful life, or RUL, of the engine is 112 circles. So now that the airline knows that there are 112 circles left until failure, they're able to schedule maintenance accordingly to address the said degradation. So in conclusion, a machine learning model was created and which accurately predicted the occurrence of failure in the engine, especially the turbofan engine. And in this case, now that I have it, I'm able, for my future work, I will utilize this design model and to insert a new set of data from real life, that is from airlines that are actually present in Tanzania, and try to see and give a prognosis of the aircraft engine. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much. Can you go to the podium? Thank you for keeping time, actually saving us time for a very high-tech presentation. I don't know how many of you followed this high-tech presentation, but the world is moving, so let's continue. Next. Dr. Emmanuel, I believe, right? Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't have your bio, so please, when you come before you present, just introduce yourself. Great. 15 minutes.
It's already afternoon, so good afternoon everyone. Let me say that protocol is observed. So my name is Dr. Pedro from Sokoine University of Agriculture. I have my colleagues also from Sokoine, and we are collaborating with Cognac from the National Institute of Transport. So as the chair said, my background actually did my tertiary education at the National Institute of Transport in mobile engineering. Then I went to the University of Dar es Salaam to do my BSc, and then my master's and my PhD is actually in meteorology. So at Sokoine I teach meteorological courses to our students taking BSc Environmental Sciences in the management. So I actually specialize also on environmental disasters. That's why I present today one of our research on the effect of changing climate on the aviation industry. So I'll just present to you just our insight of our research, just the spirit statistics was our research going on to see climate change. We know that we are in the era of climate change. So we want to see how whether the climate actually has impacted us or how it can impact in the future. So, this picture took from a newspaper. We all know this situation which occurred last year. So, one of them is what now being given when an accident occurs. For example, this precision area, apart from an aircraft maybe being an old aircraft, but the condition at the airport was not also in good condition. So the pilot has to attempt to land at the lake instead at the airport because visibility wasn't good because of weather condition. So these situations and like this, they are many, and we expect that they may increase to happen because of our changing climate. So I can skip this for time. So most of the operation of aircraft taking place in the atmosphere. And we know that atmosphere is like one of the fragile environment because it can change at that. And the thunderstorms are one of the weather systems which occur often, especially in the tropical environment. Such kind of weather systems, they are accompanied by notorious weather system to aviation, like lightning and storms. So in the tropics, where we see that weather is less variable, we may think that maybe aircraft operations are not. And another problem that there is actually little research which we actually have been done, especially in developing countries in the tropical environment. So the motive of our research is actually to try to see like how weather and the climate have impacted aviation operations in our country. So the aviation that most of research, especially the center on have been done in developing countries. And we take into attention consideration that we need to change this in terms of the tropics. So because we don't have a really winter and the summers. We have how can impact aviation in the tropics. And this is important today because we know that our planet is so hard to know how much so in this slide, we have used data from an online course study normally document whenever an accident occurs. So we have data from that to do something. Yes, they use information from police report or newspaper. So we try to give them to online the country, and those are the airports which are around the country. So our data also was by a report from CAA. So methods which was mainly used for these first regards is mainly descriptive. And we have to categorize the instance, tsunami weather and the weather caused instance, that we report from each accident, in order to see how weather can impact. We have to categorize the time into 10 years into decades. So I was explaining a little of the methodology. So most of our attacks are in terms of frequency analysis, and we try to see which kind of the type of weather which has contributed much on the accidents. That also we use the GS so to show the spatial distribution of the accidents of the country. So the nature of accidents from the reports, you can see that there is high number of collision, and this collision is not a collision that is one airline colliding with another airline. One colliding with another airline. Just to note that the aircraft can collide to an obstacle when it's taking off to land. Most of the instances are land. And there are like also flats and the discussion of the aircraft. So normally an aircraft has like three phases. The first phase is the takeoff, then there is the launch phase, and then there is the landing phase. On all these phases, the pilot has to be supplied with accurate information about the weather. The weather at the airport, the weather on the route, and the weather also at the landing airport. So, for that, some of the accidents may pilots would not have, or if the weather changes or have that where the aircraft is going. It's just information about the kinds of accidents which are from that country to 2022. Some of the instances can be like missing. Before that, there was only one report which was described that the aircraft went missing. So when you use the accidents into leakage, you find that after aggregating the accidents in terms of those which are caused by weather changes and those which are caused by bad weather, other causes. First, instant that we get here, there is like if you need the leakage 2022 was only 8 years here. So we see that there is an increase of accidents for the land process. But also there is an increase in terms of the accidents which are caused by weather. So it is surprising to see on the decade 1985, 1994, that there's not any accident which was caused by weather. But this is according to this online postal. Perhaps if we have used compares information from newspaper, also police report, we have captured this other of the accident, if whatever there is. We have to understand that weather can also cause accidents in damage. It's some of the shall be conducted. They found that also when the weather can cause accidents in damage. So these are just direct messages from the report. We do not have the opportunity to decide how weather can cause accidents in damage. Probably those accidents which are being found here as non-weather accidents, perhaps there will be an indirect effect of weather. So we try to map how the issues of Tanzania. The red color those are the areas with high incidence of accidents. And Arusha is really followed by Dar es Salaam, Kwanza, so we have to understand that this coincides well with where most of the aircraft operation takes place. Out of charter airlines in Arusha for tourism, that's all that's of countries more accidents because the airbags are small. So this is what I mentioned that Arusha is leading by 20 followed by Kwanza, Morocco. Here is when we take we consider the accidents which are caused by weather. But the first result here is the general picture of where there is more of this. So we have to filter out the ones which are caused by weather, and we found that still Arusha is reading. So the kind of weather conditions which are from the how weather actually affects aviation sector. Because that is built is one of the wind or storm, is one of the weather types which also contribute much to the accidents for aviation. Compared with areas where others are being taken, like in the US, it's found that people snow in the wind system are the ones which actually cause a lot of delay. And also, the same kind of weather types also may cause a lot of accidents. But in terms of aviation meteorology, we understand how thunderstorm it causes a lot of accidents because of different weather types within the thunderstorm system. So for policy implication, so this study is actually for aviation impact, so as far as safety is concerned. We see that more research is needed, especially to uncover how weather and climate cause or interfere with safety of aviation. Again, we understand the limitation of data, so upon other stakeholders like courts, also to be involved, want to understand more how the safety of aviation is concerned. So I can conclude that as far as whether the climate is concerned, it's not so alarming because that the contribution is less, and especially to the airports or areas where air traffic operation is actually conducted the most. So further research would explore especially the relationship between weather and the different stages of air traffic operation for different types of aircraft, the small aircraft for the accident, so as to understand how safe of aviation is in our area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director. Next speaker is somebody has been recognized now that program, so when I say number you see, the ladies who are getting acceleration, travel, tourism management, license, giving instructor, again, I think Tanzania, also a master's degree in business administration, and marketing, and the university, but I also pursuing studies, research interest in aviation industry.
kupitia context na historia.
Representations on the suspension of international tourism, and the US international airports. Speaking from the global perspectives, airports, in fact, they very clear when they open of tourism. This is the very important point on which most of the international tourists have passed through to recognize the engagement of their country. Now, looking at the statistics, we find that we have really 1,700 airports in the world, which says there are 1,300 airlines operating more than 31,000 aircraft globally. And all these aircraft under the transport either tourist or business people, different people of the world, for tourism purposes, conference, business, and other activities. And if at the international tourist arrivals globally, before COVID-19, when you speak of 2018, the international tourist arrivals were to 1.4 million globally, and 91 million in Africa, 1.5 million in Tanzania. But this was not the case after COVID-19, which the number went down massively. But if we look at some research, found that it was expected, it was forecasted that coming 2035, the number of tourists expected to reach 7.2 million, and coming to 2050, the number of tourists expected to reach to 17 million. And the importance of having a good airport which supports this number of tourists arriving in the British country. Now, looking at those numbers, we know that the impact of airport service performance in tourism has now gained a lot of attention in the world, though this has not been the case in Tanzania. Now, speaking from Tanzania perspectives again, we know that our country is very rich in natural resources in tourism, though the number of international tourist arrivals is not rising. And there are some reports that has been reported saying that many airports in the world deliver the normal fail to deliver superior customer experience, which now leads to poor tourism performance to a specific country. But there are some concerns that have been raised in the country regarding the service performance in the airport. And taking back from 2014, 2017, 2018, 2021, there was a number of complaints that customers or tourists used to raise, of which there were very few research that has been done to address those concerns. Now, the complaints that have been raised touched both processing and non-processing domains. The airport terminal locally have the processing domains. These are domains in which the tourist must pass through during arrival and the departure time, and we have the non-processing domains of which the tourist can pass through those domains for his or her discretion. Therefore, studies that have addressed especially the relationship of the airport service performance with the international tourist satisfaction is very limited, especially in the context of Tanzania. Now, the method was to look at a clear relationship between airport departure service performance and international tourist satisfaction. And the main significance was to check, was to increase now the achievement of the utmost airport service performance to effectively meet international tourist expectations, and at least manage to raise the number of international arrivals in the country. Now, in my research, I also went through some theories and models and also doing the literature review. The theory that was adopted was this theory having four determinants, which are expectations, facility performance, discontinuation, and satisfaction. But many research on the two determinants were adopted, which are facility performance and the satisfaction. But this theory is too general. It misses indicators to assess customer satisfaction at the airport terminal. It also just shows the relationship between facility service performance with the satisfaction without showing the indicators that are supposed to be measured to check the relationship. With that considered, the passenger-centered airport model was also chosen by Wedger, and this model was a model that was made after comparative analysis of more than 40 airport models, and then Wedger came up with just one model, and this model was now published in 2019. So this model had some indicators to be used as customer experience of the airport terminal, looking at all the domains that the passenger has to go through during the departure chain and during arrival chain. So that also includes some literature, because in the model by Wedger, he said that this model can also be modified by adding some indicators depending on the area of study. Now, after going through the literature review, this was the model that was made, and those the hypothesis. The methodology that was used, the research design was surveyed, and the target population was the departing international tourists, those who have already experienced the arrival expectations, but also destination satisfaction out of the country. And we had 218, of which that number was also the rule of thumb, and structured questionnaires, plus the post-ended questions was also the analysis. This was the analysis that was done, going through the statistics by SPCS and information statistics by Smart POS software, and with the criteria as it shows in the reflective model, the structural model, all those has to be standardized. Now, I mean, Let's call it demographics. It was as it is now observed in the slide that the men dominated the responded by 68% to female, and the age was more than 18, which is recommended. And the education background of the respondent was a best degree, master's, and PhD. Only 10% was the secondary level. But you can also see the cost of visit to list number 1, and the visit frequency more than 3 times less colleges also takes number 1 through the demographic profile. Now the result was as follows. After running out this smart PLS software, this was the result. That the start pay was seen to be significant, and the hypothesis tested was also seen to be supported. This was the result with the p-value which is observed. That's the figure as recommended by here, but it has to be below 0.05. And all the p-values observed there, they are below 0.05, showing that the relationship between the domains, that is checking the domain, migration domain, together with the security screening domain, have direct relationship with international tourist satisfaction. And this, looking at the analysis in the reflective and structural model, there were some criteria that we had to meet them. And the criteria, they had also some numbers that if you go above that or below that, then that relationship might also be significant or whatever. So as you see here, all these here, they comply the criteria that was described right there. Looking at the composite liability, looking at the concentration of Q values, R values, square values, together with the community. They all comply with what they has said. And after going down to this literature, which supports now the results, which shows that the relationship is now directly significant. These were the literature that was also supporting the findings that were obtained from this study. Now, looking at the theoretical implications, practical implications, and also knowledge implications, as I said, that the theory just showed the relationship between facility service performance with international tourists without adding any kind of indicators that will help us to check on the relationship. So, through the use of the passenger-centered airport model that have some indicators in, and also other indicators that were added from the literature, they were used now to support checking the relationship between the facilities performance with the international tourist satisfaction, of which the findings, straightforward as I say, shows that this relationship between the three domains with the relationship to satisfaction is straightforward significant. We saw saying that those factors that were used in showing the relationship, they have to be treated as critical factors in treating tourists at the airport terminal. Because there are some indicators that has been added to the model, then the passenger-centered model has to be modified to include the added indicators, specifically the check-in point. Together with that also, because there was no relationship model, the departure performance with international tourist satisfaction, the development model can also be used as a reference by other organizations. Looking at the limitation was, yes, limited in the green departure process. Speaking of check-in points, departure preparation, and the departure security screening. So the future start then can also look at checking the other factors which can also be supporting the satisfaction of international tourist satisfaction. Tanzania, but also a study used the reflective measurement model. Further study can also look at checking the formative measurement model. So this was my presentation, matching between the airport and the international, and the tourism industry. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Let me now invite the discussant, John, for German. 5 minutes. Present your observation. Session. Let everybody see.
Thank you, moderator. This was a very topic discussion. I'm not sure that the 5 minutes is going to do this justice. There have been a lot of points that we were discussing. Just to bring up to at least some of that. Look at the TCA overview. Okay, the example is best. don't care so much about that. They have to process it now. Then they find that involvement in the basic economic enterprise. We treat the customers in process of this is a good study. Let's see actually how NIT and CAA and all other stakeholders can go through. Now I think we're about to discuss it. Yeah, for me and my friend is not. Yeah, so now I'm going to we see how we go in a short. We see that we take this go. But we yes, yes, which of the term we want to comment on this. And let us see presenters going to respond to it. And I want to say something about maybe I don't believe we have copyright the knowledge. It's a ceremony that we can so has something to comment on it. And so I wish this would be more informative. We are a training institution. We need to get as much information as available from so please, you raise your hands and then we'll see how we facilitate the tell again. And then you write it down so we can facilitate the answers.
Thank you. So we can take a comment or question. And please don't get lost. So that maybe you can comment or ask questions and one please, one. And so the comment is for my question is the only one. That is the can you see that? Introduce yourself first.
I am Sierra Charles. My comment goes to Karina, the one who's presenting about predictive maintenance. I know, and she has done very well when it comes to machine model learning, but I have one comment. Machine model learning consists of several models. When you do analysis, at the end of the day, you have to show us the best in doing the prediction, whether SPN, other logistic regression, KNN, random foresting. At the end of the day, I saw the way you said you chose the model. At the end of the day, I commend, if possible, for scientific stand, we need to show what was there and which was the best model that predicted among the models present in the machine model. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's do this. Yes.
Yes, thank you. My name is Richard Manase from Tanzania Campus Exploration. I want to ask a question to the presenter of that. Who presented the technical review that's last this project, but I'm not satisfied with the passengers in the bus. Should you find the best way of the passengers or the customers in carrying to the bus? Because we are survivors.
Next question.
My name is Dr. Ulioandaliwa. I come from the general business community. I live in Taifa, Dar es Salaam. My question goes to the BRT presenter. You are planning to do a construction for BRT phase 4 from somewhere here in town, Tanganyika Library, up to Nawasco Uchukuzi. But you have excluded the drainage system, which is going to affect more than 10,000 at the corridor area, Nyama area, all those affected. I would like to know why the drainage system in this project phase 4 of Uliandaliwa.
Thank you. Please limit your questions to one. And next. This one.
Okay, thank you. My name is well, the guy at police bank and transport, trainer, consultant, but also the chair of the new transport police association. Well, this conference as well, but in transport. Maybe let's make focus on the aviation and just one presentation. With some Amanda's presentation. Maybe we should declare my interest. I work there in aviation, but also I'm interested in part. Well, it is this issue of the key pillar which I try to explain. But I want to know because it's a conference, as we said, which among those three pillars really we need to put force to make research? I don't understand. The second question again, there is this one key also decision, which actually is correct. We are yet to implement, and the issue is like protectionism. What really is happening? So, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Next. Can you consider general please? All questions from them.
Yeah, what's the number?
Thank you so much, presenters, for your great presentations. My name is Dr. Benita Miamba, Institute of Transport. My question is directed to the presenter from that. I have a question that considering the unpredictable prices of fossil fuel, actually they've been increasing so much, and we know the prices of fuel right now. What plans do you have to adapt to the other sources of energy, such as electricity and the natural gas that we are using in our own country? Can I ask? Second question? Yes, I will ask the second question also to that, the presenter from that. We appreciate the efforts that you make contributing towards the efficient public transport system. But there is one thing which is actually to the commuters in Tanzania. During the peak hours, the morning, it's someone can stand somewhere for 1 hour, sometimes up to 3 hours, just waiting to get in the bus. So myself, I don't know, where are you failing, you guys? Is it maybe a scheduling of the buses? Is it that the problem? Because sometimes you find there are some buses just meandering around, and the people are standing just there. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to take much time. We can allow the presenters to respond. I will start with presenter from that with most of the questions. Important with the customers. Maybe even like then there will be two transport, which have the need.
Thank you, moderator. I thank you all who have shown some concern and comments about that, and would like to respond to it very quickly. My colleague mentioned about passengers secures when entering the bus. I think that was the question. So what does it do? Actually, reality, how it was designed is that this is a rapid transit, everything is rapid system. So the buses are designed in such a way that they have many doors, and it is required that these passengers enter and exit without any chaos. So what you see now that people are making chaos to enter into the buses is because of the challenge we have. Now we have passengers, but we have less number of buses to give the service. So this can be tackled when we increase the number of buses. That's one. And the second thing is, if we are disturbed building the operation, it happens that these buses are just stopped and they delay to come on schedule to the point of picking the passenger. So if they delay, they find the station is already overcrowded, and just bring another chaos. That this everyone wants to get to the bus, so getting to the bus is becoming chaos. So that's what we are doing now, make the available buses to travel on time and to make sure that we add more buses. That is just immediately, but again, we are going to have an IT system that will manage the station overcrowding and manage the station boarding and alert. About my colleague from Tegeta, we have two projects there. We have BRT4 and we have flood project. So BRT4 is only along the corridor on the road, and it has its own drainage system. And we have another project, which is not now we are looking for financing, not yet financed that project. Is the removal of flood water around the whole area of Local plus Community. So this water is a very big project, and the designs are what we say are designed between BRT, the stormwater drain, and that flood elevation stormwater drains are connected. So when we construct BRT4 now, we are making the of the drainage system that will connect to the big project to the flood. Dr. Benjamin is asking about the big what's the plan to shift to another energy buses. Actually, we have worked on that. We know this is now the world is very, at least we are trying to manage climate change. So that is that we have a role to use only electric in the future. But now we have to jump. We have to go step by step. And in Mexico, we are going to use CNG buses, especially these buses which we are going to add for phase one, to add number of buses to phase one. All those buses, we have decided to take the CNG buses because we have been assured by TPC that they have requested that they can supply the CNG to our buses. So with that assurance, we started procuring the buses which use CNG. So that's one of the measure to shift from the first of the diesel to CNG. And then we have about 2035, we will have all buses electric. Okay, that's that. Then another question from Dr. Benita is about the peak hour. Why buses are spending 24 at the station and no bus? Buses come in and pass by passenger. The problem is we have now few buses, and we have no problem with the scheduling. We schedule the buses, but sometimes these buses delay because we have less buses than the required, than the demand at the station. So everything happens with delay, and sometimes they
I would just like to clarify that to supervise machine learning, the machine learning models you just mentioned are suitable for the regression method. But my approach was the classification method, where the naive Bayesian classifier has proved in multiple times to be more accurate for the time series data that are obtained. But thank you, and as I move on to my future work, I will try to integrate different methods in different types of data because I need to also work on the aircraft and on the engine, so I will also put in consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and this question from two questions from Dr. Fujo. It's about implementation of IT. I want to clarify that Tanzania is actually IT. There are so many parameters that have been set to IT. One, for example, is multiple destination. We allow for multiple destination. That means, as a country, we allow for another country to designate or to allow 2, 3, 4, up to 100 of that airlines to fly to our country from one single country. So that's what we do. It's one of the parameters of IT. We do not regulate fares. We don't set fares. That's one parameter of IT. Allow it. So we implement it that way. There are so many areas like destinations. What is the route implemented? We not implement it fully. It's actually market access. The market access it's very tricky because now that's about 50 freedom trust lines only. Other freedom of the air we do allow, which are actually specific. The 50 freedom of the air we do protect because we give it a simple basis on a case by case basis. This means, for example, if every airlines wants to fly from Asaba, Dar es Salaam passengers, and from Dar es Salaam to say Johor, picking passengers from Dar es Salaam to Johor. Now, if you allow that without thinking deeply, it means you are thinking well with family okay. But now you need to be your airlines. This area, this route from Dar es Salaam to tomorrow is also being operated by airlines. And the volume, they don't take 1 hour for you to place your airlines. So we protect every country. Now, what we have done is that other countries that exercise the foreign commitment this fully, but are actually not implementing on the ground. For example, now we're having this problem. This is one country which is very much advocating on this free movement. What is happening? We are requesting for them to allow the cargo to move, cargo from that other country. We've been, fighting this for quite some time from April. Nobody is agreeing yet. We are getting so many customers, so many by air travel to buy. It is they're advocating for ID. So they're protecting. This is what you have to do. But what else? Can you wind up your response? Yeah. So what we want to do now? What we want to do now? We are engaging stakeholders to review the government decision of this of protecting market access. But the we allow for legalizing also local investors.
Very much, participants. Please join me in a round of applause for our participants. I believe we had a fruitful. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand applause for Professor Nana. And this team, of course, for the way for us. Many questions to come, but it's been an excellent discussion. So before we continue with another I see okay, so while it is taking this is your time so that you invite the discussant and the session. Professor, if you're ready, we are ready. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director. Can I welcome this session? Let's sit in front here during the discussion, so we can save time. You know, we are sitting between us and lunch. I would like to bring here Richard Manase Una. Time.
Buddha is our assistant lecturer. Started with procurement, supply management at Tanzania Public Service College, Tabora campus. Several papers, and he's ready to give us a presentation. Please, Karim, you have 15 minutes, but if you could present less than 15 minutes. You're looking at me to give you the time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me commence by congratulating the organizing committee for the effort which made this conference to happen with the hard success. By starting, I will start with my presentation will be based on 4 parts: introduction part, finding and discussion, then final conclusion, the recommendation. Let's start with the introduction part. Since the 18th century, railway is used in the connecting cities, continent to make the world feel smaller and accessible. Due to the technological advancement and innovation, the railway mode of transport have been advancing to ensure that there is a meet certain time and cost efficient. SGR project in Tanzania was introduced in 2016, inaugurated by the late Tanzania President John Mwanza, and now we have added in one phase, so we have 6 phases from Tabora to Kigoma. There are a lot of benefits and a few threats associated with the construction of the SGR project in Tanzania. The aim of this paper is just to provide knowledge and inform all transport stakeholders on the expected benefits and threats of SGR during and after construction of the project. The study methodology, this study is systematic literature review, and the study review involves 3 main phases. The first one is collecting the relevant sample articles or government reports. Then the second one, selecting articles based on the specific criteria and extracting relevant information concerning the overall focus of the by starting the research session, starting with the data collection. The study used a combination of the keywords, including standard gauge railway, positive impact of SGR, negative impact of the SGR, and shortcoming and benefits of the SGR to the economy, so to ensure that you get a good number of the papers published regarding those topics. So the study recorded the relevant results and the total number of papers received from the database. I got 53, but after checking account found that the duplicate was 13. Then I omitted the 40 articles. I tried to cross-check if they are relevant. I come to find that it's 13 were irrelevant abstracts. So remaining with the 27 relevant abstracts. After passing through it and try to access the full paper, come from that the full text is not available. 80 articles were not available due to accessibility limit. Then I remain with the analyzed full text paper 19. And thereafter, try to pass through it so to get a full data about my study. Come to find that 11 full texts were 11, so paper considered for the review is just remain with only 80. So the following are the expected benefit of the SGR project during and after the completion. The study findings reveal that the following are the expected benefits. First is SGR will stimulate Tanzania industrialization. All we know that SGR will stimulate Tanzania. How? We know that SGR will offer the necessary labor and capital to be placed in strategic zone, time to stimulate the industry to demand skilled labor. And the expensive market can be grown through reliable mobility, reliable transport help in assembly raw materials and the distribution of finished goods, as these days no very limited expansion. Business owners could move across East Africa easily through SGR. The second positive impact of SGR is to realize the potential of high speed.
time is a still factor to consider in business operation. Currently, trains in Tanzania take up to 40 hours to reach Kigoma from Dar es Salaam. Thus, the introduction of the SGR with a speed of 160 km per hour often is a convincing maker that can improve business reliability, downplaying loss and damage, whereby more cargoes and passengers are conveyed more rapidly and efficiently. That's why it's one of the positive impacts of the SGR. Mr. Chairperson, another benefit, we believe that the SGR will be a good source of the foreign currency. How? Linking the country's strategic zone region and neighboring countries such as Rwanda, Uganda, Burundi, and the DRC will enable the Tanzania to receive the foreign currency. This is through exportation of the Tanzanian product via SGR mode of transport. So the SGR is expected to affect the movement of the cargo from the Middle East, China, that will be passed from Dar es Salaam port to the neighboring country. According to the Mboya, the Kenyan SGR has contributed to an improvement in the trade and has attracted foreign investment to country of Kenya. So foreigners will come with their money to invest in our country. By doing so, we will receive foreign currency. Is SGR will ensure the project will not only link cities, but also many rural areas will be linked. So SGR will stimulate the development of all rural areas through movement of the cargo and people from rural areas, also business and other social activities. Not only this, but also growth of business sector is another benefit that will be brought by SGR project. Growth of business sector in any country is made by the public transportation infrastructure system. The construction of SGR is one of the mode of transport will enhance the growth of the business in the movement of the cargo from one place to another easily and entirely. Not only this, but also another positive impact is employment opportunity. Construction of the SGR has directly employed 800 people in phase 1, while about 100 jobs were two, with more jobs unfolding of the project proceeding. On the other hand, the construction of the SGR created thousands of indirect employment opportunities, including but not limited to retailers for food products, soft drink, water, materials, business, and so on. SGR will be very employment opportunity to the youth. Creating good relationship with our neighboring countries is another positive impact of SGR that we expect. SGR project aims to promoting sustainable mobility along the central corridor of Tanzania through the construction of the railway line from Dar es Salaam to Mwanza and to Isaka, Kigali. Therefore, through this, we believe that we will increase the neighboring countries, so to create a good relationship with the neighboring countries. The last point, according to my presentation, is increased government revenue generation. Of the goods is the main objective of the project, and therefore will have a significant impact through taxes due to transporting the goods in the containers at Dar es Salaam to, for example, Dar es Salaam to Gitega through Vinza Railway and the other areas. Wherever you transport, you will receive a tax. On the other hand, the following are the expected negative impact of the SGR project in Tanzania economy. First is fragmentation. Fragmentation of the worldwide movement. In other words, tourism activity will be disturbed. You know, keep residents, pets, and animals away from the high-speed train. It would need to be fenced. This has sparked the fears that wildlife migration paths, corridors will be established between the Mikumi National Park and between the Soros Game Reserve 1, where wildlife migration and the SGR route meet. Therefore, to some extent, it will disturb tourism activities. Another is the loss of the land and the other properties in the proposed railway corridor. The proposed railway line is expected to traverse in rural and urban areas. They include major municipal areas, town and rural areas with a different level of development and the activities. Thus, some parts of these towns and people's property will be not only but also community health and service. Concern about the community health due to the influx of people to campsite, dispose of the waste and dust generated during organization, construction in operation, air projects will matter of the concern to several stakeholders. As this huge concentration of the people that into community being more exposed into the infection diseases like HIV, even COVID-19 and the other communicable diseases. Not only this, but also market disruption of other mode of transportation is another negative impact of the SGR. We know that with reduced the travel time and cost, coupled with safer travel conditions, the SGR is set to become the preferred mode of transport for passengers and cargo owners, hence taking a huge percentage of them off the road. Unfortunately, this positive aspect of the project are set to occasion diminished and loss of income for truck and bus owners and job loss of drivers, turn boys, and truck loaders. Yeah, Mr. Chairperson, another negative impact is towns. You know, SGR age out to track cargo transport and the market centers heavily reliant on the traffic for business opportunities will be in danger for economic downfall as established such as bar, lodging, and garages collapse due to lack of customers. So they will shift from traffic to SGR. With this loss of livelihood for shop owners, mechanical, oil, recycler, and waiter be immediately forcing to migrate into another profession, which is costly and controlling. By saying this, I would like to conclude by saying that the study concludes that the SGR will play a role in increasing passenger transportation capacity, boosting the democratic economy and the infrastructure development, creating employment opportunities, stimulating the regional economy and the people living in the region. So the study recommends training institution, government organization dealing with the such as TRC, create awareness to the community about the expected benefit of this DRA project. You know, government is the structure of the academic, preparing people, competent people to operate in this system. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the presenter would have was thinking towards the social impact. I believe like if the next presenter will be presenting findings of the railway in another
they have been to look for the alternative of this ballast trucks. The ballast replacing some of the parts, some of the components of the truck, lasting railway tracks. So one of the alternatives is the asphalt layer instead of the granular subballast material. Therefore, asphalt layer proved to, but it has problems, including and durability layer. Maybe maybe or increase that layer so that we have the tracks, especially at the point at the machining yards. The idea behind this research was to check what the kind of the material which because it transforms brittle, becoming as a brittle material. Then the cracking causes. Then the high temperature you have to control this, but that's why you can see it was firstly the samples were put into the -degree centigrade for 24 hours to test how it behaves, and then it was 60 degrees Celsius for 24 hours to make sure that it performs better both these conditions. Also, another point was on the TSR, the portion, it became 84, and the recommended is it can perform better at both conditions. Another one was dynamic modular test, which tested the fatigue. I said before that fatigue is caused by the cracking because of that layer into brittle, becoming brittle material. Therefore, all of the tests assured that this makes it perform better. Therefore, after checking the performance, long performance, then we incorporated the results into the track, and then the factors that studied it on the track deflection, because there is a limit of when the vehicle is passing, when the train passes on the track, there is a limit of the deflection. Then on the simulation, there was the 100 simulations, including different modulars, modulars for the subgrade, different asphalt layer thicknesses from 125, 150, 175, and the 200. So it comprised and the different loading, 25 exo loading Newton and 35. Therefore, all of these conditions formulated 100 scenarios. So these are the results for track deflection. All of the deflection are on the range. On the another property on the subgrade displacement and the subgrade compressive stress, because on the design perspective, you have to look at two aspects: the subgrade compressive stress and the tensile at the bottom of the asphalt layer, in order to control the deformation of the subgrade, because once the subgrade deforms in the track, we have the asphalt layer. If there is cracking at the bottom of that layer, then that layer is in danger because it will cause the fatigue failure. So all of these parameters were checked to ensure that this kind of tracks will perform better. So all of the results showed the satisfactory, and all of the cracking were in the acceptable value. Therefore, once you have the simulation, you have to validate the results. So there is a software which is acceptable globally track designs the track with that asphalt layer. So it was used to compare the results, and there was no too much difference in what the results from my research and from Kentrack. And there was the difference of this 20%, but 20% came from, because on the Kentrack there is implemented into that software, but into my research, the fact that was used lower. Therefore, if you compare the results, you find that they are almost the satisfactory. Therefore, part of the objective of the research. Yes. Now I'm concluding. Research was to come up with the design charts. So these charts, after checking all the content, can be used for design of this kind of tracks that I researched on. Therefore, to conclude, I can say up to 10% of the plastic can replace the bitumen content without affecting the long performance of the track. And the performance after introducing the bitumen mix is acceptable, and the track containing PET asphalt layer performs better than Welcome. You have 15 minutes. Okay, thank you. As Kelly and others, Yusuf and Dr. Gumira, I'm here to present the finding of the nominal GSMR radio network design. Actually, this is for the lot 1 here that starts from Dar es Salaam to Morogoro electrified line. The introduction presentation of this, the presentation will have a couple of lines introduction. We are going to look at the performance of the GSMR itself, which actually is already in place, and also talk about the future plan for the GSMR, which is the second generation of the telecommunication, mobile telecommunication. We are going to look at the study of migration process from the GSR to the future generation bar, and also we are going to have a bit lines of conclusion. I'm going to skip this part of the introduction because actually discuss what is lot 1. It starts from Dar es Salaam to Morogoro. So for saying it take cover what I think has been mentioned, but rather just to mention the reason why you're talking about the signaling and control. The concept of having 160 kilometers per hour is a bit sensitive. That's high-speed train. So the safety of passengers is one of the very important key elements to cover, to look at. So what you're looking at is to make sure that the communication within the train itself and the control is a bit reliable and fast enough to make sure that it accomplishes the requirement of these the task which is intended for. And yeah, when it comes to the communication, telecommunication system that is moving very fast, there is a tendency of losing the network. So that is based on the fast. We have the base stations along the rail. So the train moving within the rail will need what we call handover. So the network from the BTS1 will have to leave the communication and get the communication to the next point. So this one is one of the problems. We must make sure that the design is not leaving the city. But another thing is on the Doppler shift issue, which actually is another effect which is caused by the speed of the train itself, which will make losses of the communication within the network. So kind of a situation so that the communication is very low and provide data rate which actually is going to accomplish the requirements of the network itself and make sure that the safety of the passengers is maintained. As I said before, prior to the GSMR is the second generation mobile system. And we all know now we are moving to the generation and toward the sixth generation. So you can see when you talk about the second generation, it's a bit, we are behind the technology. So the situation which we have with the telecommunication within the rail itself, fortunately, that the GSMR still can provide the service that's required by the rail. Because basically what we're talking here is we want to make sure that the train is moving, the system, the entire system knows the speed, it knows the driving, it knows exactly the location, it knows exactly what's happening within the train itself. So the second generation, despite of having a low kind of speed of say 200 kilobits per second, still can perform that. The bad part of the story is that there is a situation that if not well designed, there is a situation that you may miss the communication. What if that happens and the train is at 60 kilometers per hour and now there is no control? That means there is even switching of these gears to make sure that it takes the right lane. It's
a disaster by itself. So this is the reason why we find out that it's very important to have that one. So in the past 20 years, GSMR has done the only problem that people are moving the technology. So in European countries, they have decided, they have been looking for the way of going to the LTI, which is actually fourth generation itself. And it didn't pick up because, you know, when you have everything as in place, required, you know, like this is another technology by itself. So you have to phase it out unless there is a result, good result. So since, as I said before, since GSMR performed well in the previous, and still it's being used in Europe until today, so now rushing up of moving to the LTR. LTR didn't pick up well. And this is the reason why now there is another move to the next, the other 50th generation. So in other words, when the design was done by SGR, rail electrified SGR in Tanzania, that was another issue which actually was supposed to be looked at, because now there is a change of technology, but we're in the middle of discussion, implementing the technology, and there is no new technology in place. Actually, it's in discussion. So actually, it was a bit, but the move had to take place. So performance so far, it's good. It's good. And its performance, I don't want to get to details of the frequencies basis, but it's doing good. And when it came to the design itself, the network itself has been designed very perfect. And we managed with our colleagues to make sure that to look at that content, the data rate, and how the design is being done. The link is very perfect. They perform good. And even the design itself, if you look at the coverage, I was looking at our design look at only with down model itself. And along the first three, the performance was just fine, just with kind of very small locations with the very minimum received power signal. So the speed itself, what if that would be the case, it's just a matter of a few seconds. But it's a place whereby we know that there's nothing has to be switched within that position. There's nothing at all which can be can affect the credit. So you can see the first BTS, the second and third, just within the between Dar es Salaam and suburban. So it's like performance is doing very well. It's a minor thing. So from Dar es Salaam to Morogoro, which cover about 200 kilometers. And you can see locations and the distance between the when we did design by using tools, radio planning for we use them. Actually, we have 3 versions now. You can see the red one shows the beta signal which is above minus 70, which is, but there's places where you can see the yellowish shadow. It's still good because actually it can perform the something green and 5 dBm. That's not very good, but still you can see they're not that much. You can see when you cover the line and the site, the design of the antenna. So we are comfortable with it for the first three BTSs. You can see the, and we are comfortable saying that what the design are doing would accomplish this academic institutions. We are getting into that and comfortable with that, the competition that, and you can see the speed is, you know, when you talk about the control here, we are saying train does not need the driver, like, so there is a driving platform, driving profile itself. It has to accelerate, cruise, and coasting process and then braking. So all these things are done automatically by control. And you can see with that one, it affects the so-called Doppler, which actually also was a part of communication system. But we also looked at concluded by using the model that actually are used within the telecommunication systems that also performance were good. Now the problem is, why now is the case if everything is fine? The problem is that the technology, the GSMR is getting, actually has already, the plan of having the new one has already started. So it's going to be phased out. And 2030 will be almost the phased out of the technology. So you can see we are Tanzanians, we are supposed to look at it. Despite of the fact that the communication is providing the good sense, but what if there is no any more manufacturers, the people are not supporting, if anything goes wrong, what happens? So this is exactly why we are saying there must be a study now to wait the best way to make sure that we have the smooth migration from the GSMR toward the new technology, which actually has 2033 has been already confirmed that manufacturers are not going to make any kind of product GSMR. So you can see we are still moving the different lots. So it's our decision now to see that how can we make sure that investing much in something that is expensive, and anything goes wrong, then you have to make sure that you make a special order for thing that is not in action anymore. So that's one issue to alert the manufacturer, the system to know that exactly they have to do a change to see how to migrate successfully, so that that's not going to happen, despite of the fact moving very fine. And another issue that we were is to make sure that the new technology comes with the other applications. So which cannot be accommodated by 200 kilobits per second. So it will be a limitation of other applications which cannot be accommodated because this is going to be regional. So Rwanda, Kenya, the rest of the countries may come up with a new kind of technology would require the new technology. So we need to make sure that we fit. So in that case, we must look at that, make sure that we are not behind, to make sure that the system, the new application is updated, but at the same time that we are not investing. Most of the time, actually, like the change, and you can see 2032 will be the end of the year. So, let me conclude. Simply, yes, doing actually still in operation. Would advise that in the next two looked at this will be, and with that, let me thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. You will agree with me that the presentations are presented which are for the workshop recommendations, proposed to advise, and so on. But for this session, Engineer Machibia Masanja, who did the would give his views very quickly, 5 minutes most, and we would take about only 2 questions from the floor. We believe that much of the discussion or the output, the presentations might actually go into what we would have as conclusions of what we want to recommend to different stakeholders regarding what being presented. Engineer Achibia Masanja for 5 minutes on your views on the aspect of socio-economic, construction, and now the signaling and control. Very briefly. Railway and the roads, they don't compete from the presenter. Now for the when I come to the issue of engineer on the research on ballast, but let me give my view. The element of trucks, ballast, sub-ballast, and the application of ballast and the sub-ballast in the truck. If you put the ballast and the application of ballast, number one, to support a lateral movement of trade. So you are going to separate the rail track. It means when the train will be moving at a high speed, it may subject it to the deterioration. You as a challenge to look at it. To me, whether you put a basket trap, you put a concrete to embed the level inside the concrete at the speed of 160 kph, you may cause a track distortion. That's my view. Maybe we will look more on that area. For the last presenter on the issue of GSMR, we call it drop system mobile for rail. Approved system worldwide. You cannot invent your own system. Are approved worldwide. And also, the system
itself, it's created with the note to cover the big area while you operate on the railway. With one purpose. Number one, protected and to interfere. It's different system from other social and economic mobile GSM. To consider any other law ongoing, it is considered that we are putting much towers for any future migration from GSM migrate without adding much cost. For the time, this is approved in 32, as you say, until the world went to other systems, we can go. I know there is a big challenge and competition between China and the
aviation sector. GSM, to Kennedy. Yes, GSM technology is essentially radio-based. And and we require real. My worry is there system redundancy so that if one fails, another one picks up. Otherwise, it's going to be a case.
Thank you, Chair. My comment is that my name is John Laya. My question is directed to the presenter on the expected positive negative impact on standard gauge railway. In the presentation was good, but I wanted to hear something about capacity utilization, because railway projects are highly capital intensive, and in order to turn on investment on these projects, we have to ensure capacity utilization. That means capacity utilization levels must be high if we are to realize return on investment. But looking at the things at present, East Africa is actually suffering called severe trade imbalance. Cargo upstream is high, but cargo downstream is low. That means when trucks go back from upcountry, they come almost empty, but they go when they are full. Now the problem is, how can we ensure capacity utilization as far as the SGR is concerned?
I think the question is understood. Can we get responses from those to whom questions were directed? I'll start with you.
Yeah, thank you. Put it in environment. It's very true that when it comes to response to Manongi, GSMR is the way TRC has done. It's a ring. It means backup. Then the one first, there's another one which picks it up. It's a loss of the data transfer. So that's exactly the performance which has been designed very well. The thing is, no way out that we are going to live with the GSM forever. There is no way out. And we have said that by 2032, the manufacturer are going to close the business. So there's no way out. We can just tack an iron saying that there is no way we have to move with the GSMR forever. So that's what I'm saying. Currently, the design is well designed, and the sectors for the antennas are well designed, and they have the backup. Actually, the stability is very. But the question is, what is going to happen when the manufacturer is going to stop manufacturing? What is the cost of the concern that we are dealing with? Thank you so much. I think I had only one.
For me, I have no question because it's about my colleague.
Relating to you, but I agree with you that that concludes the presentation. Questions, and I would like us to join giving a loud the presenter to the discussion and those of people who ask questions. And I would like to bring back the session to the
Thank you very much. Commend to Professor Makungu, and of course a special round of applause for India Machidia for being very flexible and to accept the board. Otherwise, we have Dr. Ali Kanalina, but again, thank you, we have other conferences. So please, out of what we have ask the organizing committee, and then it will be prepared to your desires and needs. So we are taking our lunch from the what we call Zafarani restaurant, which is on the first floor. But again, because of the number and arrangement, we'll be given the coupons. So please make sure you have a coupon. Your ticket to the lunch table. And no propaganda. So Dr. Eva, you will assist us to pick one table after the other. So let us use both entrances. Wengine tutakwenda upande ule, mlango ule, those of us sitting at the back. And on this part here, we can use this door. So the committee waiting for us. And please make sure you have a coupon before you get out. May I also ask you to spend as little time as possible, probably 45 minutes,
for lunch and so that we come back and finish the part. So after lunch, we have the last session, designing, construction, and management of transport infrastructure for capital resilience. Professor Guira is already here, who will be one of the keynote speakers, and we have Professor Sando all the way from the US. As you have seen, he is already online. He will also give us something as keynote speaker. But again, we have at least 4 or 5 key technical presentations, and this session will be chaired by Professor Pinanga. Yes, you are here back already. So, discussion for this session is Dr. Amon. I hope you're already here. Yes, thank you very much. So, that is the plan for the afternoon. Yes, let me ask the keynote speakers table to, start the queue. Others, members of the Governing Council, will you please lead the procession to the restaurant? And after those 2 sets of dignitaries, and then the rest will follow.